this is not going good. I can't remember what my bit was, and people laughing at that, or
Right.
then you realize, oh, just being up here, being yourself to whatever degree you could be yourself.
Greetings, everyone. Come on in and have a seat up front for the Funny Muscle Podcast. If you're here, then you're looking to learn how to create laughs like a pro. So please help me welcome to the stage your co-host to help you do that, economics professor and open micer Chris Stifler and comedian turned author Mike Lucas.
Right, because they say you should live every day as if it should last. I don't recommend that. I tried that one time. It was a Wednesday. I woke up, quit my job, slapped a cop, and hit on my girlfriend's mother. Then Thursday rolled around. Much to my chagrin. Found out they ain't got no bumper stickers telling you what you should do the day after you lived the previous day like it was the last day of the rest of your life. No bumper stickers for the consequences.
Whoa, look at that, man. How
Yeah.
you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, doing great. I'm just glad to see you. That's sweet.
Are you living in Dallas?
I'm living in Dallas now. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, good, man. How
right.
long you been, how long have you been there?
Since 2014. I basically retired from comedy, came here, and then just got back into comedy in August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm very pleased today, even though Chris Stifler is in having oral surgery, getting his mouth stapled shut finally. No, he's getting some work done. So I'm here by myself with an old friend. This is a guy who you've probably heard of him, even though his special is called "Who the hell is Dwayne Kennedy?" You've seen him on Seinfeld. You've seen him on Martin. How High? I'm reading your credits here. Can you tell his latest special, Who the hell is Dwayne Kennedy? Is awesome, and it's believe it or not his first full length comedy album. So he's been in the business for quite a while. Please welcome Dwayne Kennedy. Woo! Chicka, chicka. Thanks so much for being here. I haven't seen you for a long time. I've known you since the Chicago days. Your name came up on the podcast, actually. Maybe your ears were burning, but I was talking to, it was either Dan Carlson or Tom Clark, but we were talking about open mics and your name came up. I said, so many times I would think that the open mic audience sucked. I was up there. I did what I didn't have much of a plan and I did that. And I would sort of either
You didn't
tank
have
or
much of a plan and you executed it to perfection.
it was so true. And I couldn't believe that I didn't do well. And then I would just sort of trash the audience to myself, well, what do you want to do? It's just a bar open mic. How you ever going to get this crowd? And then sure enough, you would go up like the next guy and or two guys after and just kill. And then would just sit there with one tear going down my eye, my cheek, saying it wasn't the audience at all.
Right, right. There goes that rationalization.
Now I'm going to have to really just face some truths about myself, and it really always I mentioned that story to I believe it was Tom Clark, and we laugh because you're one of those guys that at open mics especially you always have something new that you're working on and always pushing the envelope of what it is that makes people comfortable. And so talk about your process of getting ready for an open mic.
Well, when I was doing open mics, it was just like you said, it was a matter of developing material. That was my goal. And so I would have, not everything, but try to at least have one new thing that I was working on. Or also, then you take the new thing and you try to develop it and flesh it out and all those things. So the goal with open mics was to introduce new material and to hone material. So that was my thing.
Yeah, the thing
Uh,
I always teach the students I coach is that the open mic, don't think of it as a performance. Think of it as like you're going to the gym and
right.
you're getting reps, and the more reps you get, the stronger you get. And then you get in front of a real crowd who's paying, not a bunch of your stand-up comic friends who
Right.
are could be a good audience, like you proved time and time again. What did you do that would twist that crowd? Because you would somehow there was the personality of yours would connect immediately, and it was because of some like did you do something consciously to do that?
No,
I just rocked. That's all I did.
well, I'll tell you this, and this was just clubs in general, not even open mics. What I would do consciously, it would depend on the tone of the room. Like say, if I was going up second or third or whatever, and depending on what the acts were preceding me, I would try to present a contrast. So if everybody was, frantic and animated, then I would try to be low key, you know what I mean? Because that was sort of my personality anyway, but then more playing it up for that album because it just gives a change of pace. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's
just to make it
interesting.
more distinct, just to make you distinct. Although then you can't, in some ways, that can I don't say have to be careful, but be mindful of that because whatever it is you're presenting on a stage, if you continue to do that, then you might start that and that infuses your persona and starts to inform your persona on stage. So then that's something you take with you wherever you're at and whatever the circumstances. So you have to be mindful of that. Is this the way I want to present myself every
Right.
time I'm seen on stage?
But what
Um,
I noticed you doing though is you would adjust your energy to where the crowd was at and to be that alternative to whatever was up there already. And then you would slowly morph into who you were. Like it would develop, like you developed it into what you are. And then you just became you and it was just you up there doing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But right, because then you have right because whoever is preceding you, and then yeah, you have to take the audience and sort of meet them where they're at in some sense. But like
Yeah.
you said, if you can, and then pull them towards you, and then like you said, and then ease into who it is you actually are.
You got to
Um,
retrain them almost to where your laughs are because you have a different rhythm, a different music.
yeah, exactly. So, and then particularly, and this is a thing, just doing clubs. This is where oftentimes, if it's a club, say if it's a showcase setting, then where a good MC comes in, because
Yeah.
sometimes the MC will know how to regulate the crowd and wherever their energy is, either to bring them up or to bring them down, or to do more time in between so that they can ease the transition into the next act, depending on what the next act is. So that's oftentimes, in a club setting, man, is the MC is can be crucial in that regard.
It's so true. And unfortunately we often hire the least experienced person to do that on the bill. And in the
Right.
old days they didn't do that, as we have talked about on the podcast before. They used to hire the headliner would sort of run the show.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the MC was, like I said, people recognized it was an art in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah. An experience in the hands of an experienced comedian, you could really have a great set the tone of the whole show.
yeah, man, an MC, that was MCing is a skill.
Yeah.
And people don't know that now. Like you said, they just treat it as a disposable kind of throwaway afterthought. And then you just bring up the next act, but it's not like that. You're setting the tone for the room. And like I said, you're regulating and you're managing the audience.
Right.
So yeah, the MCing is a skill and an art. But yeah, like you said, now it's just like we just go get the fry cook, and if he's you know in
Hey
between.
Jimmy, get up there.
Right, right, right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dwayne, give Jimmy your intro. He just learned how to read.
And then
So
Jimmy goes up and makes some stuff up that, this guy used to beat me. Wait, that's not what I said.
no, come on, Jimmy. Jimmy, why you
Talking
got to
about
do
your
me like
brother.
that?
Yeah. So,
You insulted my
uh,
cheese sticks.
right, right.
Well,
Um,
how long have you been in the business? I know at least 100 years, maybe 150, like
yeah,
me.
117, man, going on 40 years.
Yeah.
People say, how long are you doing? I would say over 30 years, which means going on 40 years. Yeah. And somehow you still try to, even at this time, I don't know how you were, Mike, when you were younger. Like, you maybe, and maybe you didn't think about it at all, but certainly, like you kind of push things down. How long you been doing? If you've been doing it 5 years, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even a thing, but some people I don't know. Some people boosted down how long they've been doing this. Some people
Right.
boosted. I think the younger comics boosted up, and the older comics boosted push it down.
I think so, because we're at that point where I've been doing it for going on 30 years, and it sounds like when you say that, it's like saying my kid is 50,
Right,
you know,
right,
like you just
right,
sound like an old dad, you know.
right.
Well, that's
Right
cool.
now,
So
you wind up saying it like now. It's like people actually you realize you've been doing it longer than a lot of these comedians you're working with have been alive.
well, that's what I've been noticing. So, well, just to give you some background of where I'm at, I took 10 years off to help co-raise my kids with my wife. And
Mm.
then because you know how it is when you're traveling as a comedian, you're just out of town every week. And I was coming back home and my two little kids were not recognizing me. So, now they're old enough where they want me out of the house. And
Yeah,
and so I'm back and doing comedy now. And in that time I realized like things have changed. Everything has gone different. There's a whole
yeah,
lot of young comics that are in the business that are really, really funny and
real,
have
man.
great worldviews. And I feel like Rip Van Winkle woke up and like everyone got sensitive. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? What
Right,
happened?
right.
How do you feel about where the direction of where comedy is right now, as someone who's been in it for 4 decades?
You know, I like it, man. Just more people, more types of people.
Yeah,
Like you said, a much broader array of people that are doing it, different perspectives. That's only good, man. It's only good. And I know older comedians, some of them complain about, oh, you can't say this anymore. You can't say that anymore. And to some degree, that might be true, but then you just got to say some different stuff. And you got to look
maybe
at
you
it, you
shouldn't
got
be
to think
saying
about
that.
it. Wait, yeah, you know?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, there's bits that I used to do that certainly I couldn't do now or
right.
couldn't do in the same way you used, and that's the challenge, maybe approach a topic in a different way, in a way that to an extent, because I mean the other side of that is to some degree, one of the components of comedy is it's usually at the expense of something or
Yeah.
someone, you know,
Yeah,
and
you
I
take
don't
the piss out of something.
yeah. So, and I don't think that dynamic has changed, but I guess you just have to change your approach and who it is you're doing that to or against and why.
Yeah,
You
we call it punching
know?
up. You have to punch up at something or punch over at something. You can't punch down at it.
Yeah, yeah. Punching down is not good. Certainly people do it, and certainly I guess depending on the audience you're doing it in front of, you can get laughs, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's the well, you know what? That's not the kind of person I want to be.
Right, right. Yeah, me too. And there's a place for that, an audience for that, and it's in hell. That's where it is. It's in hell. And so if you want to
Yeah,
go there, that's fine.
yeah. Then you can punch down at Hitler. Yeah, or punch up, depending on what his status is in hell.
Yeah, well, in hell, like I think you'd always be punching up because you're down below, as according to the myth.
Right. You know how it is like with fathers and sons, man, that weird kind of dynamic where, your son, if you're a son, nothing you can ever do is ever right or ever enough. You know what I mean? Your grandmother's sick. I bet you didn't even call her, did you? Yeah, Dad, I called her. Yeah, you called her. But I bet you didn't even go over there and see her, did you? Yeah, Dad, I went to see her. Yeah, you went to see her. But I bet you didn't even re-wallpaper the kitchen while you was over there, did you? No, Dad, I ain't do that. No, I know you didn't, because all you ever think about is yourself.
So
Yeah.
you've been through so many like eras of comedy. You've been through the 70s with like the strip clubs stuff. You've been through the 80s with the
Well,
Pete.
I really started the 80s, yeah. So I
So
started,
you were in the boom.
yeah, I went into the boom, and it
Smart.
was booming for somebody. I mean, I was working, I guess it was booming, but um, I don't, yes. So yeah, I went through the boom.
Well, talk about when you first got started. Like what was that like? What like how did you go about going from being an amateur to being a pro? That's such a big leap, you know.
Yeah, it was just a matter of the first time I ever did it, the first time ever was an open mic at Zany's on Wells. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a club in Chicago. And I tell you, the person who brought me up the very first time I ever did it was Larry Reed.
Nice, Uncle
Remember
Lair. A
Larry
little tip from your Uncle Lair.
Reed? Yeah, yeah. And he's still doing it, man. He's still
It
going strong.
is.
Yeah. I did a show with Larry November 4th, the day before
Uh-uh.
the election. Yeah, man.
Good for
At St.
you.
It was a big, it was part of a Chicago comedy festival. You know how they always have a million different comedy festivals, and this is
Sure.
the latest incarnation. And it was people, yeah, just bringing, was that shotgun, one comedian brings up the next comedian,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We call it
So
piggyback or shotgun, yeah.
you got, yeah, yeah, tag team, whatever you call it. But so yeah, man,
Oh,
and
fun. And did you have to
and
follow Larry or did he have to follow you?
well, he brought me up just like the very
Oh,
first
oh, he
time.
brought you up. Oh, gotcha. Oh, so you
It
had to
was,
follow
it was
him.
tough. Yeah, and it was not good. I mean, it was okay, but Larry really should have closed it, man. They loved him.
Yeah. He
He still got it. He
well,
still got
he's the kind of comedian that pulls the whole crowd in on his side, and he truly is your uncle. He's that funny uncle at the funeral, the funny uncle at the reunion,
it.
the funny
Yeah, yeah,
uncle at the wedding.
right. Doesn't give a rip. Doesn't care about what he says, man. And
Now,
you know, he's the
smoking a
cat.
cigar
All right,
over
right,
the
right.
baby, like ashing on the baby.
Right, right. All inappropriate, you know what I mean? And then but he's so relentlessly inappropriate that people just wind up loving it.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's fun. And
So,
I can't. What a powerful show, the two of you on there. That's
oh man,
amazing.
it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of people on that show that night, but yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah, but Larry was the first person to ever bring me up on stage, and it was at Zany's. So I started doing that.
Now, what was that first time you were up there? How did you do?
Here's the thing, Mike. The very first time I ever did it, I did well.
Everyone has that story. I killed that first time. The second time, oh,
Right, 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 right. And yeah, I remember. I still remember a bit one of the bits that I did the very first time I ever did it. And
oh, do the bit. Oh, you got to do the bit.
okay, it's about being in the Black Student Union, and
Okay,
and I went to
I
college
got a
just
bit
trying to.
like this too. I got a bit like this too.
I know you guys. I didn't want to. I didn't want to seem like I was ripping off your Black Student Union
I
bit.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm mindful.
I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate being mindful.
Yeah. um, but it's just the cat. He's. I'm gonna do one little thing because actually, I mean, I still like the bit to this day, and it's
Nice.
like it's a bit that I always feel like what I could still. Now I don't know if this reflects poorly about that I haven't evolved as a comedian.
No,
You know what I
that's
mean?
how good the bit is.
I think that's what I think, but you
Yeah,
know how
I
we
believe
have that.
that. But
But
wait, hold on. I'll listen. I'll tell that after the bit. Let me.
well, I'm just gonna do this portion of the bit where it says, I went to join the Black Student Union, but I quit because those brothers were too black for me. And it's like the brother came in, he said, "Good evening, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Black Student Union meeting. I'm the president of the Black Student Union. My name is Jafari Mbinge Rasul Ali Jafari Mbekat Salam. Now, for those of you brothers and sisters who may have some difficulty remembering that, you can just call me Hank." And then he just,
Hey,
hold
Hank,
on.
I'll go with Hank.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so look, that bit, and some other stuff that. Here's the thing: like I'm still in that thematically, I still deal with that sort of stuff, race and social.
Right.
So I still deal with that. And even I had a bit about beating off. I don't really do that anymore. You know what I mean? You
Was it a racial bit about beating off? Because
yeah, yeah,
that'd be interesting.
yeah. Right.
White people do it like this, but black people do it like that.
Right. Right. White folks brothers use the left hand, and yeah.
We're
Um,
right-handed people, my friend. We're right-handed people. We can't help it.
right, right. But so the first time it went well, and I think I think they gave you like 5 to 7 minutes,
Sure.
whatever. And when you don't have never written anything or tried anything, 5 to 7 minutes is an eternity,
Whoa.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it can drag.
it
If
can
there's no
drag.
laughs, it can really drag.
You know what's so funny about that, Mike? Even to this day, man, I don't know how you feel about this, is that when I'm in a club, either just they're watching somebody waiting to go on or whatever it is, and you see somebody say it's just like a showcase set. So it's like a 10, 15 minute people doing 10, 15 minutes. It's so funny depending on the act, how time seems to pass or not pass.
It goes like that, or it's like burgers and barometers,
Yeah, man. Yeah. Have you ever seen somebody doing a 10-minute set? Like I could swear they've been up there like 40 minutes.
right?
Or somebody doing a 40-minute set. It's like they're getting off this like they just got up there.
Ah, come more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. So that's so interesting
it
how
really is.
yeah,
It goes to show you the magic of stand-up comedy. When it's
yeah.
done right, you get sucked so into it that
Mhm.
time is it's timeless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I did like the first time, like 5 to 7, whatever it was. It actually went good. Like I said, I got off. I remember the show wasn't over, but I was leaving and I was walking as I was walking, and Zanies, and I didn't walk out the back, I walked out the front. So I'm walking out as a somebody was on stage and I'm walking past them, and the audience was applauding me as I was leaving, and the guy from the stage said, "Hey man, that was a good set," or something. He said like, to the affirmative. Oh, thanks. I left, so I felt great.
Wow.
But then, like you said, man, I think I went back, I don't
Hey,
know, a
that's a
couple
great
weeks
set. You
later.
should go walk out the back, not the front, mother.
Right, right. And you know what I knew? And never to return. Right?
Never do it to my friend.
The George Costanza. That's it for me.
That's it. One time. Goodbye.
Right. But here's the thing with me, and I don't know if you thought this too. When I first started, I thought when I came back, I thought you had to have a new set every time you went up.
That's what I thought. And I
Yeah.
did. The second time
Yeah.
I went up, I had a completely different five
Me
minutes
too.
and it bombed.
Me too.
Oh,
Same
and I felt
thing.
like such an idiot when I found out later. What, you can repeat? Wait, and then I saw other comics repeating. I'm like, hey, not fair.
Right, right. Hey, that cat did the same thing the earlier this first show. This is the first
First
show.
show.
What's
He's
he
not
doing?
making this up. He's not carnival personnel
Right, right.
from the jerk.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Uh,
So the second time, I don't know what I was talking about, and I ate it.
oh,
And
funny.
so,
Isn't that
yeah, man.
interesting how we both were fooled like that? Because we really were fooled into the magic of like the it's the first time ever.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the second time I ate it, and I think I did it again, I ate it. And then I remember, I think it was the third time I ate it. I was feeling horrible. And I remember this cat that was on the show. Do you ever remember a cat? He was a mime named Marty Polio.
Yes, Marty Polio.
Yeah,
Didn't he
brother.
perform with a woman on stage too?
I mean, he may have, but this night he was just by himself. And he was
Okay.
great, man, with the hat in the air and all that
Oh,
stuff.
oh yes, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So after the show, I stayed to the whole show. And after the show, he actually gave me a ride and dropped me off at the Lake Street L because I was taking the L back to the crib. And he was just telling me, trying to give me pep talk. Hey, man, oh, thanks, man. So, but after that, I didn't go up again for about a year.
Really? You just were like
Yeah,
this is too hard.
man, exactly. Like, man, I suck. But then I
Yeah,
started
but you had
getting,
that one great set that must have like
yeah,
killed you.
yes. And what's so funny? I think at the time, that's what I was going to tell you. I think if I had never done well the first time, I don't know if I'd have ever done it again. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe I would have, but I don't know.
I don't
Um,
know though. Like that, you at least you felt like you were like that golfer that felt like what it was like to get a hole in one, and you go, okay, at least I
yeah.
know I can do it.
Right, exactly. I say, man, I know I can do it. I had a had evidence, but
Yeah, but now
so
how do you consciously do it? That first time, you don't really consciously do it. You just sort of, I don't know what I'm doing. And then every time after that, you're trying to repeat that first process, and then that's where you get messed up.
well, the thing that I always gravitated to was the writing.
Yeah.
So I always wrote. And I
Keep a
mean,
notebook.
yeah, had notebooks, man. And I mean, at the time, I wrote everything down to the uhs and the ers and the ums and the ums, you know, to that point. Like,
Sure.
oh, yeah. But so I still had I had confidence in my writing, but I didn't, like I said, I ate it on stage. So it's like, well, maybe this stuff isn't funny, but
Now, why do you think you ate it? Like, what was it about what you did that was so different from that first time that would cause you to not? Because I could see some of the stuff not playing well, but like your brain is so bizarre and so fun that I can't imagine that none of that shit hit. None of it.
no, none of it did. But also because I still wasn't comfortable on stage
Uh,
where I could just settle in and be lucid and just kind of either
right.
let the material come to me, because that's what I was thinking. I'm going by rote. Oh, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh,
You're
I can't remember.
Rolodexing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm Rolodexing now. I can't remember, which I still Rolodex, but now I have much more to draw on. Or and you
Not that
have
one index card.
right that keeps flapping. You know what I mean? I keep bringing up that same card. Wait a minute, the same. Wait, but
It
but
says, "What do you want to talk about?"
what else is going on? It keeps going on. What else is going on?
What else is going on?
You know.
Uh,
But also now, and I have more stagecraft,
yeah,
ability. So it's like, even if I can't remember something, now it's just it's going to probably go well, or it's not going to be a disaster. And now you have the confidence because you just born of having done it so many times and haven't had success. Because what is confidence but having experienced some success to whatever degree in your life, and to the point where it's like, man, this is not going good. I can't remember what my bit was, and people laughing at that. Or
right.
then you realize, oh, just being up here, being yourself to whatever degree you could be yourself. Um,
Interesting. Yeah. So
yeah,
you didn't have that. You didn't have access to that yet.
no, I didn't have access to any
You
of that.
have to be too for your stuff. You're so cool, man. You're like a real cool dude. And if you don't feel cool,
Yeah, right, right. Right.
yeah,
I have to
that
feign
vibe.
confidence. Yeah, that vibe. And if that
Yeah.
vibe is not happening, man, the whole act is off.
Are
But
you that cool, or are you like a mess underneath, and you just have that comedy persona?
yeah, I think it's more of a persona. I
Yeah.
think it's maybe me more now as I've gotten older, and then maybe me as a result of crafting that for the stage has has now become me in life, you know?
Fake it till you make it, baby.
You know what I mean? Like they say, which is why there was a period during, I think, around the time that we met, there was a period in my life because I think we met in earnest like at the Improv
Yeah.
in Chicago,
Yeah.
right? And at that time, I was going on stage, and sometimes I'd have a beer, and I'd bring it up on stage with me, and it went from beer to wine, and I just thought it looked cool. But after a while, man, it's like, you know what? It's like, I'm about to go on. Where's my beer? I said, no, I got to stop that, because going back to, like I was saying about adopting the cool persona on stage, and then it almost like bleeding over into real life. It's like, that expression. Sometimes you do the act, and then the act starts doing you.
Right.
You know? So that part of the act of me being calm, I don't mind taking that with me off stage,
No,
but I
that's
don't want
good.
to
Yeah,
think
that's
about
good.
drinking, man. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
You know?
ventriloquists often fall prey to that, where all of a sudden the guy starts talking and it's hey, what are you doing? We should kill that girl. We should kill her. We really should. Shut up. We'll bury the body. Oh,
But we're not on
Zippy.
stage. Yeah, 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 man. So, but yeah, it was so the second and third time I was just trying new material. It wasn't working. I didn't think I could go back to the stuff that I did that worked the first time.
So walk us
But
through that first time back after a year. Like what was that like? Gotta be nerve-wracking.
yeah, and this is what happened. Like I started getting the itch again to go up. I still wanted to go up, so I started going to shows. I wasn't going up, but like I went to Zanies. I saw people I watched emo one time. Like, man, this cat is great.
Yeah.
Just his joke writing ability. I remember seeing John Campanera, man. And again, the thing I never forget this about John. His material is great, but that's the first time I ever in person saw somebody, man, with such stage presence.
Yeah.
John Campanera, man, it's like he just like his you know vibration, whatever his aura, he just radiated, man. I was like,
Right.
man,
Own the room. Just own the room
yeah,
like almost
yeah,
immediately. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the first time I really experienced that.
Powerful. It's so
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah, absolutely. So I was watching comedians and I was going to different places. And then so one time I went to it was a Bennigan's. No, not Bennigan's. Hula Hands. It
You
was
hands.
yeah, Hula Hands on Rush, Division and Rush. And
Is that one of those
they
places you can crack the peanuts on the floor? That sounds like
I don't know if you could do that at Hula Hands. Maybe. I can't remember.
anyway.
But they had a show, the bar shows, the
Right.
independent shows. So I was, I'm going through the paper seeing what shows are going on. So I said, oh, Hula Hands, I'm gonna just go there and watch. That's all I did. I went, paid my money, or sat it in, watched the show. And Mike Ostrowski, did you remember
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
Ostrowski? Okay. And a woman named Claire Berger. Did you know
I didn't
Claire
know
at all?
Claire, no.
Okay, so they ran this show. They were comedians. They ran the show, and it was the first place I ever saw Mary Wong. You remember? You remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Ali Leroy and
And
Tim Miller and Lance Crowther.
I never
Who
saw them. I just knew Ali Leroy.
Yeah, yeah, and then okay, right, because I think by the time you came around, they were gone.
Yeah.
But those cats later became, man, my tremendous friends. But at the time, I didn't know. I just was, and then the cat named Kevin Norman. They would, various cats that would go in and out of the group. They were like Parliament Funkadelic members coming in and out. You know, so I remember seeing them, and I think I went a couple of times, and I would watch people. And this is the thing, man. And when I watch, even to this day, I don't know how you are when you watch comedy, but even since when I was a kid, I would watch comedy on TV, and I would love it, but I wouldn't really laugh. In the inside, I'd be like, man, this is great, but I
Right.
wouldn't be. Generally, I wouldn't roll, except for Richard Pryor. That's when I would actually laugh.
Yeah.
But most people I would watch, I could see it, I liked it, but I wouldn't really laugh. And to this day, I'm sort of like that, to the point where sometimes I'm cognizant of it. Like if I'm in in a room and in an audience, I either try to remove myself because I don't want to seem like strange, like I'm not laughing, like I'm not enjoying it. I don't want to be that. I don't know how you experience
Dwayne, did you
comedy.
like the show? Yeah. Well, then tell your face. Yeah, I think a lot of comics are that way, where you're like, huh, that was good. And
Right,
that's how that's like an applause break for a comic.
right. Mike was rolling. How could you tell? Because he exhaled some air
Yeah,
from
he
his
rumphed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I went a few times to Hula Hands and watched them. So then this is crazy. I approached because I was getting the itch to do it again. So I approached Mike Ostrowski. I said, "Hey, I would like to perform here." And it's okay. Well, you got to audition for us.
Oh
So I don't
boy.
know what that. I came back whatever day it was. Man, they had this. I don't know if they did this because they were messing with me. They didn't know who I was, or they were so new they didn't even know how it worked. Claire and Mike brought me into an office
Oh no.
in at Hula Hands, and they sat behind the desk, Claire and Mike Ostrowski, and I went and I yeah, and I did my set in front of them,
Oh boy.
and that did not go great. But
How could it?
yeah, I know it was horrible, man. Right, but
You come to this
Mike,
desk often?
who here's from yeah, who's here from the front of the broom, from the front of the restaurant? So, but Mike told me about a place. Said, "Well, we're not going to pass you here." Well, I knew that was happening.
Whoa, you didn't make the hula hands cut.
Nah, I didn't make the cut. But he said there's a club in Rosemont called the Comedy Cottage.
Yeah.
So that's where I first learned about the Comedy Cottage. So I started going out there to perform.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll
And
take you. Come on up.
yeah, and when I went up, right, New Talent Night went up, tried out, did my set. Jay Burke, he liked me, so I started performing there. And that's where I really met Lance and Tim and Ali and Kevin, Mary Uncle. They performed out there a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I really started in earnest. But even that, Mike, I'm telling you, man, because my personality was such, and you get older, you learn that I was still the type of person that if I didn't have a good set, I would be crestfallen and devastated, brother.
Yeah. Take it
And I mean,
personally.
taking it personally. I mean, like to the point. I remember one time, like driving back home from the Comedy Cottage, man, I ate it, man, and I was just crying, like, man, if I can't do this, I can't do anything. I'm useless. Yeah, to humanity.
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere. Why do you want to fly jets?
Right, right.
Yeah, but it feels
So
like that, right?
yeah, man,
I've
it
tried
feels
everything else.
horrible.
It's not fun. This is the only thing that's fun.
Yeah, yeah. So
The
I
one
and
thing
I
I'm
was
really good at. Yeah, you're really good at it, right? And you knew that.
I thought I was. Like I said, I was put it this way, it was the thing I was best at, you know. You know what I mean?
Whether I'm good, that's different. It's all
Yeah,
relative.
that's a different thing. But
Compared
relative
to
to
what?
me, right. Relative to me, if you compare this to me loading freight, then I'm better at this.
I'm way better. Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's funny.
thing I've learned, and I mean, years, man, and not that long ago, really, relatively, that when I would, like I said, when I would have a bad set, I wouldn't go up again, man, for weeks or months.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, brother. I mean, that's
You
how
sat in that.
psychological.
You sat in that for a month.
Yeah, that's how fragile I was, man. And
Whoa.
and and I say that to say it's funny that when I first went to New York, at the behest of Lance and the Wongs, at this point we were great friends, and that's how I even got to New York because Lance had already gone out there, and he was, in addition to performing with the group Mary Wong, he was also doing stand up, and he had moved to New York, and he was going up and stuff, and so he'd come back to Chicago periodically, and he was telling me, man, you got to come to New York, you got to come to New York, and I don't know, man, I kind of like it here, staring at the ceiling. I'm busy. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I got
busy.
walls to stare at. But finally, I relented. I went to New York, but then that's how I first got to New York. But I say that to say, so I used to see Chris Rock because Lance knew Chris. Lance was telling me about all the people in New York. Man, there's this guy, this young kid, Chris Rock, and they, at time they were nobody. They just people trying to go up. But
Right.
the thing I'll never forget about Chris, man, even then, which is like I said, I've only learned, I don't say only learned this lesson, but really in some ways, you do what you're able to do and you do what you're equipped to do. And at the time, I
Right.
just wasn't equipped to do it. But Chris, man, I'll never forget this. When I used to first see him and he was coming up, you could tell he had talent, and he was very smart. But I would see him bomb all the time,
Really.
all the time. Mike, I'm not, brother. I'd see him, but here's the thing. Unlike me, he was relentless. So
Right.
I'd see him bombing at 9 o'clock at Catch a Rising Star. Then he'd be bombing at 9:45 at the Improv. Then I'd see him bombing at 10:30 at Comic Strip. And then you know what I mean.
So you're
But
like, how this motherfucker getting all these sets?
but the thing I learned, not even learned. I guess it just dawned on me, and I realized in retrospect, in hindsight, the fact that he was relentless, man.
Yeah.
He had something he was pursuing, and so he was undeterred. You know,
Yeah. Instead of taking a week or a month off after a bad
yeah,
set, he
yeah,
barely took 15 minutes off.
yeah, right. He only took time off that it took him to get to the next club to bomb. Yeah, the
Wow.
cab ride over. So, and you realize when you again though, it just depends on who you are as a person, how you're able to
Yeah.
deal with things. But you realize in retrospect that I wasn't really that wasn't serving me to do that.
No. No,
You
how
know,
could it? You're not getting reps.
right? Not getting reps. No, but that's the wisdom. That's what I know now.
Yeah.
If I were to start over, knowing what I know now, then it's like, yeah, you keep doing it, and then at some point you're going to push through that. I mean, not to say you're always going to be learning and growing, but you won't be at that exact place again, or you won't be at the place where if you do eat it, it's not going to be so psychologically devastating and crippling. You know.
I don't know, man. Still, to me, when I came back after 10 years off, I ate it a bunch of times. And
Yeah.
I got to say, Dwayne, it's quite uncomfortable.
Oh man, it sucks. Yeah,
It sucks.
it sucks.
And
It
especially
does.
when it's like a drowning where you start to drown, you're lacking air, and then all of a sudden an undertow sucks you under because you got nothing going on up here. There's a panic. That's what it is.
Mhm.
There's a panic that goes to it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're not now, when you're experienced, there is no
Mhm.
panic. You're just like, all right, they didn't like that. I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to that. I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'm gonna talk to that guy. I'm gonna
Right.
remember this thing from earlier today and go live, you know.
Right. You know, all the, like I said, you have the, you know, the tricks, and you have the stagecraft, and you
Yeah.
have all these things that you can rely on, right?
I had
And so
none of
you,
that. All that was gone. After 10 years, it was gone. I had to I get the rust off of all of them. It was like oil can.
yeah. But you know, I would say for me, because during the pandemic, I didn't go up for like 2.5 years, from like 20 until about fall of 22. So I didn't,
Wow.
yeah.
How did that
So
feel when you got back?
it felt good. In some ways, it felt like I had just done it an hour ago. In
Yeah,
some ways, it did not. But I, in some ways, enjoyed the fact that it felt new, because it gave me another perspective.
totally. That's what's happening to
Yeah.
me right now. And before I was single, I had no kids. Uh,
Wow.
I was drinking, and,
Okay.
and now all of those things are different. So
Right.
yeah, I have kids who drink. It's great. It's all I know.
Right. You know, so yeah, so I enjoy that, man. It just kind of, you know, it changes your whole view, and can and have you tap into other things, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
No, but
that part of
did you slip back into your ease of and comfort pretty quickly though?
pretty quick with
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah. Then yeah.
put it this way, and you know this, quickly, in the sense of, it was, I knew that I was could be off, but the audience didn't know.
Yeah. That's a
You know what I
pro.
mean?
That's a pro.
Yeah, so I knew where I could be different, and as of course, as you do it, things come back to you, bits come back to you,
Right.
stagecraft comes back to you. It's like, oh yeah, I used to do it, you know. But even at the beginning of coming back, having enough experience, like I said, nobody's thought, oh man, what's that cat doing here? You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Wow. It's we take it for granted. It's like a, a magic trick to be able to
mhm,
make strangers laugh. And then when you
yeah,
don't have it, it's really upsetting.
yeah, yeah.
Like, oh no,
Um,
did I lose it? Did I lose that ability? And then I didn't. I found it again very quickly. But it
mhm,
took me a lot of reps to of it not going so well and being scary.
yeah,
Being
yeah.
sober for the
It's,
first time, not taking a drink before the set, like you
oh,
said with
wow.
the, I wasn't used to that.
Were you, now, when we first met and you were going up, were you drinking then?
Well, not I wasn't never a drunk, but I was just drinking a lot, and yeah, I
Okay,
was drinking then for sure. Yeah, yeah.
okay,
And so I'd have
yeah.
a beer or two, or maybe I do a shot of Cuervo before the set and go up there, and it would just
Okay.
loosen me up,
Yeah, I
and
got
change me. Now I'm funny. Now I'm not. It's like Clark Kent taking off his glasses. That was
you.
my
Right,
Cuervo.
right. I think, and for me, with the beer and all that stuff too, I thought it was just like, you know, some sort of a persona, and you know, like, and that's what comedians do, and this and that. But like you're saying, it's like, but when you get to the point where it's like, I'm about to go up, I need to have my bring my beer up or my
Yeah.
wine. It's like, that's nah,
That's not good. That's not
that's not
good. Yeah.
not
Well,
good.
speaking of your persona, have you done much introspection on your comedy journey to like in my books, what we talk about is the comedy lens, which is sort of like your brand, and it's sort of your take on the world that you bring to your comedy writing. Like Jerry Seinfeld is a guy who makes a big deal out of nothing. Rodney Dangerfield gets no respect. Roseanne Barr was a domestic goddess, and go on and on. Do you have your own brand or your own comedy lens that you can define?
You know what, Mike? I actually don't, man. That I see. I know people have put things upon me, or
What do they
say
put
what,
upon you? Can you
like
voice
the
them?
social. I mean, I know a comment. I don't know.
It's hard,
Uh,
right? Yeah.
yeah, man.
It definitely like a social commentary is in there.
Yeah, which that I see, but I don't know if I ever had like. I mean, is that a brand? Is that a person? He's the social commentary guy. I don't.
No, I think there's one more thing missing from that. You would have to be like the sardonic social commentator, kind of thing.
Yeah,
There'd have to be like a rub in there somewhere that
yeah.
gives you like, because really all that is
Hmm.
a tool for writing. If you're clear on that, which you're clear on yours, you don't need to be verbally clear on it. You just have to know how, like, is this a Dwayne Kennedy bit or not?
You're right. That I
You're
know
very
about.
clear on that. Your stuff has a very consistent energy to it.
Yeah. So
Like, talk about the bit you just put up online. You said you haven't done it in 400 years and you won't do it in another 400 years, but you finally put a damn bit online, which was hilarious.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what it is with that.
The phone
I
calls
can
with
go,
Kamala.
oh man. Oof, yikes. And then yeah, and it's I mean, to this day, I don't know who you voted for or if you ever contributed money, but yeah, I'm still getting these texts. All we need, Dwayne, we're $250,000 away from our goal. What are you talking about?
Did anybody give money? Sister said, nah, Dwayne, nah, I didn't do that. I was wishing the sister all the best. White folks like, nah, I was with her in spirit. I was praying for her. I gave money, man. When you give money, here's the thing. When you give money, then you get on the mailing list, then they always asking you for money. They still asking for money? That's what I said. For what? Hey, Dwayne, this is Kamala. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard. You got your ass kicked. I was about to text you. Get some of my goddamn money back. What? Touching me like an ex-girlfriend in jail. Hey, Dwayne, I don't know. I ran into a little trouble. I know you did.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm just now, because we started in an age before all of this, all of the internet, all of these things. So now I'm still sort of, and that bit was the first thing, because I've done plenty of shows where now that's uh part of the protocol. You do a show, somebody's there, like who's running the show's got a camera, they're recording everything. That's how that's the
It
age
goes
we
that
live
way
in.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's documented. Everything's got a video document. But that's the first time that I can remember where one of the shows that I did, that they posted it. Usually they didn't even ask, but I don't care. I know those guys. It's fine. And that's just the way it is. So I'm still trying to get acclimated to putting material online.
Your stuff will go viral. Your stuff is that kind of viral material. So when you begin to cherry pick, and I wouldn't cherry pick too much because but you're a writer, so you just write more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is it goes viral. Like people start sharing it, and then that's what now is drawing comics into the clubs.
Yeah, man.
Fortunately, unlike you, they don't have the material to back it up. They have that whatever that 10 or 15 minutes is.
Right.
Now do an
Right.
hour.
Yeah. I mean, the first to your first point, right? You've got to be online now. Like I said, if you're trying to generate an audience and generate work, because now a lot of clubs, they don't care who you are. What is your online? What is your Instagram count? What's the whatever?
Right.
How many followers do you have, and all that stuff? So to that point, yeah, man, you got to do that. And to your other point, you're right. And a lot of people, or there are certainly people that post online who have millions of followers and viewers, but to do a live set, they don't have the chops.
No.
Yeah.
No, they can't even do the material they did on the clip. Well,
right.
That's your jam.
Right. That's why I'm here.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's a weird industry now in that sense, and so you have to. That's why so many people post crowd work, is because you can burn crowd work. It's just never going to come up again. Although I don't know how you are. I often take crowd work and I incorporate that into a bit, because if it goes well, if I can repeat it.
Absolutely. You know what, Mike? Absolutely. Because everything you do on that stage is writing.
Yeah.
And however you got to it, even if it's like, bouncing off somebody else, if there's a way you could, that's all potential material. That's all potential gold. The thing I don't, in this sense, I don't mind when I see people, when I started noticing a lot of people posting crowd work, then I said, oh, you know what? That's really smart, in the sense of you're not trying to burn material, but you want to have a consistent online presence. So you do crowd work.
No.
In that regard, is cool. But
However,
and people who have posted crowd work have said this, but now if you're introducing yourself to an audience and all they know is you doing crowd work, when they come to see you, now it's like, I'm gonna be yelling out because he gonna say, and now if you're trying to do bits, people are yelling stuff because that's what they saw online and that's what they think the show is and what you are.
Well, that's what that
So
Matt Rife ended up doing. He ended up just fully committing to being a crowd work comic, and he's really good at it. He's fast, he's clever. I
yeah,
saw him ask an audience member a question, and the answer was, "I have cancer," and he turned that into a positive, fun moment. And I was like, if you could do that, man, you're good at crowd work.
yeah, yeah. And that's the whole thing with me. I don't begrudge anybody doing
No,
anything if they're good at it.
you're good at it.
If they're
If
good
you're
at it.
country western, I'll watch your live show.
Yeah.
I won't buy your albums. I mean, I can't
No,
have that. I can't have that in my house.
no, 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 no. I won't be yeah, yeah, right, right. But yeah, man, if you're good at that, then I don't care. And like you said, riffing is the can be a step on the way to a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Uh,
record your sets? Do you
I
audio
record
record?
them. I record almost every set and then proceed to never listen to it.
But it's there if you need it. It's there if you
Yeah,
need it.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing I gotta. I used to record and I would listen to it and I just stop, but I really do need to do that because it helps.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's a great way to recall the moments that you had up there that you weren't counting on laughs. Like a lot of premises get laughs when you go, wait a minute, there's something in that premise that I can even
Right.
dig deeper, you know.
Absolutely,
Tags that
absolutely,
you tags that you just riffed off the cuff, you know.
absolutely. Or listening to it again, like, oh, I could have said this, or you could have said this, I could have added this, all
I
those
just
things.
I can't imagine after 40 years of doing comedy that you're like, I want to listen to my set here. Oh, there I oh, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, there it was. You know, like
I'm just gonna listen to just to confirm to myself that I'm worthy.
I'm worthy. Yes, there I am. Oh, not worthy, not worthy, 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 not worthy. Damn it.
um, but yeah, man, it's interesting. I remember this is when the internet was first breaking, where it was starting to dawn on club owners and bookers that the internet was a force. There was a woman, was it Paula Johnson? Do you know who
Yeah,
she?
I remember
And
her.
now, yeah, and I think she was one of the early people like MySpace, where she had amassed this huge following. And the story I heard was she had gone to Molly Schminke, who books the Punchline in San Francisco. This is the story I think I heard. And Molly, I'd like to work your club. And Molly, I have no idea who you are. I haven't seen you on TV. Still that was still with the old paradigm.
Sure.
He said, well, take a look at this. I'm on, take a look at all those people. I think, man, she booked her at a show and I think she wound up like adding like two or three shows, whatever it was,
Wow.
man. Yeah. But at the time, and I know she's a seasoned comedian now, so it's fine. But I think at the time she was still new, so she had more draw than bits. So
Right.
they actually had to the crowd came to see her. She didn't have the material, and they had to bring Tom Rhodes in to close.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the story I believe that I heard. Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
Comic could
So,
definitely close a show for sure.
oh yeah, but you not now, man. People, the folks coming up, they're so astute at how technology works, how the internet works, how to promote themselves, all those things,
Yeah.
man. They,
All those
yeah,
non-comedy things. There's just one thing lacking, just one element that if
yeah,
you wish they had, and if they had that, all the rest of it
right,
would be
right.
worthwhile. And it's
Yeah,
the ability to tell a damn joke.
yeah. Hey, man, like I said, that's just the deal now.
Yeah.
And the upside of it is that if I adapt myself, hopefully, like I said, with this, and that's my goal for the coming year is to be more adept and more consistent and diligent about posting and all those things,
Oh,
man.
good, good. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to that for sure. Yeah, it'd
yeah,
be fun to watch you your new stuff. I saw that bit and just was dying laughing. That's what made me reach out to you. I was like, oh, I got to get this old friend on the show and just and so talk about your journey. Yours is an interesting journey. You could easily be Dave Chappelle as far as the trajectory of what you're capable of, and your journey has taken you to a different place where you're headlining clubs and you're doing opening for guys like Dave Chappelle. What is that difference between you and that extra oomph that could take you over? Because I think you're that guy. Like everyone, you're like the comics comic. We all know how great you are, and we're like, we want this like fame and fortune for you. And I guess the question is like, what's keeping that from happening? Because and it's a shitty question. I know it's a shitty question.
No, I get it, man. You know, I think when I first started, Mike, I think maybe this was low ambition. Maybe that's what it is.
No, no.
But no, when I first started, I remember at the time, that when albums were a thing.
Oh, sorry.
Let me see. My goal was if I could get on TV once, if I could get on TV at least once doing stand up and maybe make, I think it was like at the time, like if I make 5 albums and then I would be fine. That
Right.
was my vision. And that was as far as it went. But then as I did it, I enjoyed the craft of it. I enjoy, yeah, having a good set and those things. I don't know, because people say that, say, "Oh man, if you would have done so, you could have made it. How come you didn't make it?" But in my mind, I was like, "Man, I thought I did make
And I
it."
did make it. I've achieved all my goals and more.
Yeah, I mean,
It's funny how we all have this royal view of what it should be versus the happiness that you're experiencing. You have a very happy face. You look like you're in the middle of a joyful experience.
yeah, I mean, right now, here's my thing. I wish I had more money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like right. But as far as the things that I've done, I'm cool with those. If I'm gonna tell you, Mike, I'll tell you, if I had all the money I ever wanted or needed, where I'm at right now in life, I'd be fine
Right.
and dandy. And I enjoy making my friends laugh, and you know what I mean, and just
Yeah.
having good experiences with people I love. So, you know,
Joy to those open mics. That like you lighten up the craft of comedy for everybody. You remind us of how much fun it can be.
yeah, that's I love it for that in and of itself. But that procedure doesn't necessarily net you millions of dollars. That's the only thing about that.
Yeah.
Um, so, but and another thing,
Here's my prediction. If
uh,
you twist yourself into a more presence online, watch that happen very quickly. Yeah,
okay,
watch that happen very quickly because your stuff you'll see your audience. There will be an audience that just gravitates towards your shit, man. I
mm,
guarantee you. This is my prediction. Now,
yeah,
I'm sitting here in a bedroom in Dallas telling you this. So
hey brother, I mean, I take it, man. That's heartening, and
yeah,
I'm gonna pursue that because I'd like to. Now I'm at the point, like, let me see if that can happen.
yeah,
Let me try that. Just curiosity's sake. Let me see. Because I think for a long time too, this is the other part of it. I don't want to say success, but sort of averse to success to some degree. Like I would, I don't know, man. I was like, I was doing it. I was on stage, but not necessarily doing the things that it took to go to the next level.
yeah.
Is because you know how it is. I mean, because this is the thing I didn't know until I learned is that because I thought that you go on stage and if you're funny, you come off, everything is waiting on you.
That's
We'll
what I
take
thought too, my friend.
yeah, right
Yeah.
this way, do this, do that. It's not like that at all.
You got to come up with projects and write them, and you got to pitch them.
Yeah,
What?
right. And you got a glad hand with these people and these people and I
Right.
remember I'm not going to say any names, but I came up with people who that I didn't think they were necessarily funny or that funny or and not to say just because I mean that I would see audiences in mass not seem to think that they were that funny, but they were good at the glad handing and all
Relentless.
relentless. And I'm not saying they didn't have talent,
Right.
but
It's just not
it
that
just
extra level talent.
yeah, and
Like
it
Chris
was
Rock has that extra level talent.
he's
Like
got that extra
he's
level. Yeah.
relentless, but he's also got that thing.
Yes. Yes. So right. So he's got that
Like we don't
combination.
begrudge someone like that.
No, I mean, in a sense, right. A cat like that is almost it would be a shame if he didn't make it. He's almost got to make it. You would expect,
See,
and
now you
that's
know
what.
how I feel about you.
But yeah, so I would see people who were just, I didn't think that were great. And again, not just because it's personal. I'd see the
Yeah.
audience not really, but off stage they were doing the things they would do, and I would see some of these people like ascend, man. It's
Right.
like, man, and then you realize, oh, it's not just about what you know. I mean, that's what you can do. So I say all that to say that I was and maybe even still to some degree, less so than I was, but sort of averse to the potential, not trappings, but the potential of what it could be to be successful, like really successful.
Oh,
Because
I see. Like what that means, like how you'd have to change and shift for that new
yeah,
lifestyle.
man. I
You'd have to be
mean,
a new person.
I mean, like to see when I because and now having been like as you have, being around like really famous people, man, and
Sure.
just to think that, that's it's to me it's cooler to imagine that
Than
than
to be
to
that.
actually live that when you
Well, you've
see just
seen you've seen that it's not always pleasant.
it never ends. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's
Yeah.
not now, it's something that you're controlling. It's out of your control.
Yeah.
So everywhere you go, you're this person, and people they're like, oh man, I don't know,
Be careful what you wish for.
you know. But the other side of that is if you're not what fame can garner you is the wealth.
Yeah.
That's the
And the connections and the power to get projects done. You
yeah,
have the ability then to and to bring your bald friends along with you, the ones that really support you and call and predicted it. You could
yeah.
just you could be like, well, here's a breadcrumb, my friend. Yeah.
And I like fame to this degree. You finish doing a show, somebody after the show, hey man, that was a good set. Or maybe even somebody you're out in the street. Oh, I saw you at the show. I said, oh, okay. And then that's it.
Yeah.
But not, you know, can't walk down the street or everywhere. Like, man,
Dwayne,
I
you like cheeseburgers, huh? You like cheeseburgers? You're eating a cheeseburger. Wow, look at you. I can eat the fries? Can I have one of your fries?
right. When we were doing Totally Biased, ironically, that show uh came about as a result of Chris Rock, now Chris Rock, and he saw Kamal doing a one-man show. Kamal used to have the show called the W. Kamal Bell Curve, How to Solve Racism in About an Hour. So he was doing this show all over. Chris saw it, liked it, say, hey, saw him backstage. I think Kamal was doing it in New York. Say, hey man, you should be on TV. And cut to he developed it. So we shot a pilot presentation in Santa Monica, and Chris was taking it around and just trying to get a pilot. He took it to FX. They ordered a show just from that. So I
Wow.
said all that to say, so we were working with Chris, and I remember sometimes he'd come by the office when we were, working on the show and take us all out to lunch, man, and just, walking down the street from we were like 34th and 8th. There was this barbecue joint he used to like. We'd walking down the street, just everywhere you go, everywhere he's at, just, hey,
Yeah.
man. So,
Like, would you want that? Like, I hung out with Carrot Top once.
oh
Same thing.
man,
Same thing.
yeah.
And and Carrot Top has a hard time saying no.
Oh, okay.
So you got people like abusing the fact that he's polite and he loves the attention too, but I don't know
Right.
how he is now, but this was back, before he was Carrot Top, but he was just a big name, from doing TV like Tonight Show and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, same thing where I don't know, man, we were trying to catch up and eat a snack at a Applebee's or something. And
That wasn't happening.
at a Hula Hands, we were at a Hula Hands and there's some guy,
Mike,
some comic kept talking while we were trying to
yeah,
while we were
man.
trying to
So
eat peanuts and jump them on the floor, and much to the dismay of our wait staff.
yeah,
That's not this place.
yeah. But yeah, man, we'd go sometimes and it was just everywhere. Guys, autograph this and that. Can you hold my baby while I take this picture? Oh boy.
You hold my baby.
Yes, people had asked him to do that. Can
Guess
you
who
hold
held
my
my baby? Guess who held my baby?
right, right. So
Check it out. Yeah,
right.
it's a blessing and a curse. Well, we talked a lot about writing jokes, and I wonder if you could just go into your tactics or techniques for doing that, or is it all organic that it just comes out like the idea just pops in your head?
That's it a lot. I'm glad you said that, Mike, because I always have a tough time answering that question, but that's really what it is, just kind of organic, and it's a reaction to something. And the fact, and this didn't even occur to me until years later. Man, I've been so, I guess it's so immersed in it that I don't even really see what it is I do. But it's like Pryor in this sense. Like I was so influenced by Pryor, and then it dawned on me, Pryor didn't really write jokes. He wrote scenes. He did
Yeah.
scenes. I mean, certainly there's funny things said within the scene, but I don't know. Like I'm not like some cats are that. I mean, they're just master the construction of can turn anything into a joke, and you know the
Seinfeld's
whole
that way. Seinfeld's a
Seinfeld's like that. He's like a
Jay Leno's
scientist.
like that. Jay Leno's a crap.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's like jokes will emerge, but it usually has to be in a lot of times in response to something, in reaction to something, in
Okay.
my consideration of something, which is why some of the times I've had writing jobs like Orlando. Orlando was different because we wrote sketches a lot, even though sometimes we'd work on monologue. But when it's time to like a monologue, or when totally biased, or when I wrote on Arsenio, when it's a writing assignment, unless it's something that's just like within my sensibility, that would be tougher for me. Like I just want to see this topic and come up with 10 jokes about it. Like
Right.
I'll try. I'll do what I can. But,
Right. Something got
yeah.
to piss me off first.
Yeah, or something. I got to be engaged, man, on some sort of a level, like an emotional level or
Yeah.
something. It's just, and it's funny because in my life, just I've worked around some cats that were like that. Like
Yeah.
you just giving them assignment and boom, they can just crank it out. And that would be extraordinary to me.
Well, we talk
Uh,
about like with the first part of that process is you take a topic, and any topic is just, like a generic, cell phone or dog, and then
mhm,
it becomes a premise as soon as you add an emotion to it, as soon as you add what's frustrating about it, or what's uh,
mm,
angers you about it, or what is embarrassing to you about it, or something that's worth mentioning, And so
mhm.
now a cell phone, now it could be, oh, I keep thinking that I shut the buzzer off, but my alarm goes off, and it happened in the middle of my kid's play, like that's my
Yeah,
cell
yeah,
phone bit.
yeah.
And your cell phone bit would be something different because it would be the social, commentary part of, the twisted social commentary part that you would bring about.
Well, I mean, and again, I do have some bits about a cell phone. I have a bit. I never done it, but it was born again out of something that happened, and it was just the fact that you know how I'm telling you, I've never done it on stage, but you type in the first two letters of something, and it would be your girlfriend's name would come up, and then you all aren't to how did this go? So then you all aren't together anymore, and you type in the first two letters of her name, but the name's not coming up anymore. It's like, man, uh, the cell phone has moved. Even the cell phone has moved on, and you haven't. So, you know,
I picture the cell phone having a pep talk with you. Come on,
yeah,
brother. Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah, right. Sending me cell phone, sending me that. You know, she's seeing other people now, right?
No, no, come
Right.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
Jane's not
yeah.
coming up. She's not going to come up anymore.
I've had enough or bits about technology, but
That's
again, is
funny.
yeah, just some like you said, like some emotional connection, or I've had. I used to do it sometimes. The whole thing about smart appliances and you know s- a refrigerator that now can let you know if it's low on stuff and this and that. So just the idea that you're at a club trying to be with somebody, hold on, I got to call. It's my refrigerator. Yeah,
What's up, baby?
yeah, yeah.
Milk.
I
Got
told you
it.
not to call
Eggs.
me here,
I
whatever.
told you not
Yeah,
to call me.
yeah,
Get it. I'll get it. I'll pick it up on the way home. Jesus.
right, right.
That's funny. Dude, that's great, man. I love it. And It's interesting. I always ask that question of people, and I have one more question I want to ask you, then we'll wrap it up. Well, it's a question we ask everybody, but I like to ask people about their process because every single comedian is different in the way they approach their writing, and so many of them are like you, where they're like I don't know, it happens. I react to my life, and then I bring that to the stage.
Well, yes, but I'll do this. I mean, if I have certainly ideas or something that happens, I write it down. So I
Why
will
is
write
that?
it.
Why, I mean, I know why, but why? Tell our listeners why
I
that's.
write it down so I don't forget it.
There you
I don't.
go.
Yeah, so I don't forget it. Write it down or at this point or speak it in. This. I don't do this, but I know that's done.
Yeah.
Speak, however it is, you document it, you record it in some sort of way.
Like on,
That
yeah, you're
has,
saying on your cell phone. Yeah.
yeah. So you write it down so that you have it. You don't have to worry about it, and then maybe subconsciously you start to work it over, or then if you come back to it, now you're seeing it with fresh eyes, like, oh, okay, this now I can add this or this or this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And boy, it just happened to me right before our call. I had an idea and I was about to type it out and something distracted me for a second. And then I
Mhm.
lost all context of what that idea was from. And I didn't even know what subject I was talking about, let alone the premise I'd come up with.
Yeah,
And it was just like, it's gone. I
yeah,
didn't write it
man.
down quick enough.
I hate that. And then right, and then but I love like I have notebooks and stuff, man, and then I'll go through and like, man, this is a good idea. I forgot it, completely forgot.
I forgot I had it. It's like
Yeah,
someone else like opened up your notebook and wrote it in there for you.
right, right. So
This guy's
yeah,
brilliant. Whoever this is brilliant.
right, right, right. So yeah, I write it down, and then at some point we'll sit down if I'm gonna maybe do a set. I used to do this more, and I want to get back to this. I haven't done it yet. Like write out a whole set.
Wow.
Now I'm just or write um what are your set list, your
Yeah,
topics.
right. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. But sometimes I will still write out a whole routine every now and then.
That's good exercise, you know?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's the final question. This is one we ask all of our guests, and I'm so glad to have you, man. Honestly, this has been a treat, man. You've been cracking me up this whole time.
Thanks, man.
So this is for our young comics in the audience. If you could give them advice on, like, say they have an hour a day to work on their comedy, not on stage, but like just like writing and at the desk.
Mhm.
What would be the equivalent of like 100 push-ups that you would do to improve yourself? Something, an exercise or like a technique or tactic that you could suggest that would allow them to practice for an hour and get better. Is there anything like that that you have that you could lay on us? Smoke
Hmm.
weed. That'd be mine.
I don't whatever it is you think is funny, certainly, yeah, write it down. Try to explore that thing from a number of perspectives. Like, this is hard to say
Yeah.
because it depends on what it is you're talking about. But seeing it from your perspective, then how would the audience see it? Then how would my neighbor see it, or how would so and so see it? And maybe
Right.
give you the perspective and more to say about a topic.
That's great.
You know.
Yeah, because we often get tunnel vision about
Hmm.
our ideas and then to break out into like a different perspective. That's one of the heightening devices from the book, which is a different perspective. And then
Okay.
suddenly you're having to look at it from someone else's point of view and like sometimes you can anthropomorphize something. Like you can look at it from
Yeah.
your shoe's point of view, or you can look at it from
Right.
from from Tuesday's point of view.
Right. All of that, because ultimately it's going to all be you.
Yeah.
Whoever it is you're imagining yourself to be is going to all be you, but it will just, yeah, it can put you in a different mindset, give you a different perspective on it, a different angle. Like I said, more to say about it. Yes.
I love it, man. And I really look forward to seeing this new you online, your presence online, because it was such a joy to watch that bit about Kamala Harris, the phone calls.
Oh man.
Have you heard? Have you heard?
Yeah. What are you talking about? Oh my
So
goodness.
I don't want to push the bit, but thank you, Dwayne, and we'll have you back for sure.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Good seeing you.
You too, man. Oh, you know what we should do you have anything you want to promote?
I have a bunch of dates, but I'm not gonna sit here and list all my dates. But I've been trying
That'd be
to.
funny though if you did.
February the 17th, I will be at Grinners.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our podcast. Okay, then in March,
Oh, for sake. Okay. You can go. Oh, you know what we can pitch though is DwayneKennedyComedy.com is your website. So if you guys get a chance,
.com or is it .com or .net?
.com.
Okay, wow. I didn't even okay.
Yeah, and what's interesting, what I love to see is there's a bunch of pictures of you with not your dreadlocks, but with shorter hair. And I didn't even recognize you, my man. It was hilarious. I loved it. Like, I was like, well, who is this gentleman?
So I was thinking about joining the Marines.
Right?
And
Got the tie on and shit, and the tight hair, It's great, man. It's looking good. But
oh,
yeah,
man,
but go to DwayneKennedyComedy.com and check out all of his stuff, and you'll have your upcoming dates there, and we'll send people there.
okay, cool, man. Thanks, Mike.
All right, man. Well, hey, anything you need, man, you let me know. I'm happy to help you.
Okay, will do. You as well.
All right.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Talk soon.